Hello friends, Jeannie Moss here. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be making a simple card. We're going to use the Softly Sophisticated bundle. This comes with the stamp set and the embossing folder. And it can be found in the 2024 Celebration brochure. This is free in the US with a $100 order before shipping and tax. We're going to use this. We're also going to use some Designer Series paper. It is called Softly Stippled, and it is 12 by 12 paper. It is also from the Celebration brochure and is free with a $50 order. So I'm going to flip through these quickly. You will get 2 of each of these. I'm just going to show you, there's no reason to obviously show you duplicates. This is really a pretty texture. We've got our stippled roses. This is the pattern we'll be using today on our card. This one also has pretty texture. More roses and another texture. So again, I've showed you 6, but you would get 2 of each, so there's 12 sheets, and they're, as you saw, they're double-sided. Like I said, we're going to be using the one that's the Calypso Coral, so we'll be using this. We'll also be using thick white vanilla because this is, or thick white cardstock, because this is going to be the base of our card, so the thickness will stand up better than the regular basic white cardstock. So this is basic white 5.5 by 8.5. That's going to be our card base. We've got a layer for the front of our card, which is cut slightly smaller. So that's going to be 4 by 5.25. We've got a piece of black. This one is 1 5/8 by 5.25, and a piece of white, basic white, and this is the regular basic white. This one is 1.5 by 5.25, and then we've got this small piece of DSP. This is 1 inch by 4 inches. We also have a piece of black twine. This is from the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So we're going to be starting with our cardstock. Now the thick white, because we're using thick white, we do want to score that. We'll be scoring that at 4.25, and we'll be folding it and just burnishing our crease there with our bone folder. So that's our card base. We have this piece of white, that layer that was 4 by 5.25. And what I've done with that is taken the embossing folder that's part of that bundle, and I've just put that piece of white in that embossing folder and run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and now I have this pretty embossed layer that I hope you can see. And we will be attaching that to the front of our card. I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue for that. I find this is my go-to adhesive, and I'll need to get that a little closer so that I can get that centered. So there's our card base. The next thing we'll do is do some stamping. And we're going to be stamping on this white piece. So I'm going to pull out my foam pad, and I'm also going to pull out a piece of scrap paper. And would you believe I didn't bring my ink pads? That's not good, is it? All right, so I have mounted this stamp. We're going to use this stamp, we're going to use the flowers, and we're going to use the hello there. We're also going to use your In My Thoughts, and I have those already mounted and ready to go. So I'm just going to randomly stamp this. So I'll do one there. Do one here. And then I'm going to do another one turned up this way. So there's my green, and while I have this green out with this stamp, I'm going to just put one down in the corner of my card. And while I have the ink pad out, I'm going to switch to the You're in My Thoughts. And I'm going to stamp that up here. So there's the inside of our card. Then we're going to switch, we're going to switch over to our Calypso Coral. And we're going to use our flower stamp. Now the easiest way that I've found to put this flower stamp down is to look at this little bud. Can you see the little bud right there? That's the small flower here. And I'll line that up and then look at the other two flowers and get those lined up as well. So that's kind of, to me, the trick to this one is to get the bud where it needs to go. And then you can look at your other flowers and get those where they need to go. So it will look like that. We'll also do that on the strip that we just stamped. And there we go. Now I'm going to also just take this little flower on the side and I'm going to fill in any little spots that look like they might need a little something. So there's our piece of our focal point for our card. Now you could do a whole sheet like we've done this and cut it into pieces or use it as a background. You could, cut it into 4 pieces and use that as a layer on your card. So you could make your own background paper with this. And we have our black piece. So what we'll be doing is attaching this to our black piece. And it'll have just a little bit of a border on either side. And now we're ready to attach this to our card. And that's going to go right on top of the embossed piece. So here we're coming along with our card. Now we have this piece that we're going to stamp with that hello there. Which I used for another project. We had a math class this last weekend, and I used that in my math class and forgot to pull it out of there. So we're going to just ink this up with the Memento, the black, because we want those black accents. And we'll just stamp this here on the right-hand side of that DSP. And now our stamping is finished. What I'm going to do is turn this over, and I'm going to use a little bit of my seal and just put it across there. And now I'll take my twine and I'm just going to loop that around a little bit. So I've got something that looks like that on the back. And now I will take dimensionals. I'm going to put dimensionals on one side over here where our twine is. And I'm going to actually put it on that twine because that will help to secure that. And then on this side, I'll put glue. And the reason is because we've got these extra layers here so that when we lay that on there, it will help to even it out. So again, this side has dimensionals. And this side's going to have a little bit of glue. And the only other thing we need on there are some embellishments. And to embellish, in my class, I used these classic matte dots, but I ran out of the black ones. So what I did was took a Sharpie, just a plain black Sharpie, and I colored some of these vanilla ones. So that's what I'll be using. I'm just going to take the take your pick tool, and I'm going to pull these off and stick them on wherever they look like they need to go. And there's our card. So this was a pretty simple card, didn't take us very long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can email me at bluegrassstamper@gmail.com. And if you'd like to see more projects, check out my website, which is www.bluegrassstamper.com. And if you need any product, I would love to help you with that. Thank you so much for visiting me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.